Hey, what's going on, team? We have here Soteria, one of our amazing new clients in the Hot Nurse Protocol. And we're just gonna dive into all the stuff that she's got going on and how her life is changing, right? So Soteria is a full-time RN, full-time mom, so double the trouble there. And Soteria, how long have you been a registered nurse?
I've only been a registered nurse 6 months.
Okay, okay. And what were you doing before?
I was an educator. I was a teacher.
Yeah, oof. So from one stressful job to another stressful profession. Um, and just walk us through a little bit of your day to day, right? Full-time RN, full-time mom, like I know there's a lot of stress there and there's a reason why you joined this program. So walk us a little bit through that day to day and what your life looks like.
Well, it could get to be pretty chaotic, right?
Yeah.
I have children that go to school on Monday through Friday from, 8 to 3:30.
Yep.
And then I work from 6. I have to be working 6:45 to 7:15
Yeah.
a.m., 6:45 p.m. to 7:15 a.m. So I work nights and my schedule changes weekly.
Yeah.
So that struggle of trying to figure out, okay, how I'm going to take care of my kids.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a new grad. I'm considered a new grad.
Hmm.
So I in a lot of different types of training,
Yep.
the stress from the job, which is not that bad. I actually I really enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
But just the hustle and bustle of just trying to make it all work. I'm very blessed to have a great support system in
Yep.
place, and someone to be right there for my kids,
Yeah.
so that I can get to work and get them fed and all
Yeah.
the things. But it
Yeah.
could be hectic.
Yeah, that's such a blessing to have that support system, because there's a lot of people who are doing that without a support system, and that's what makes
Right.
it even harder to take care of themselves and prioritize themselves and be a more effective nurse and be more a present mom, right? Because they got just so
Yeah.
much going on and they been getting pulled in all these directions and they have no support, right? So
Right.
it's a blessing that you have that support, and I know even with that support, still it's still challenging, right?
Yes, it is.
It is still challenging, yeah. So okay. What specific problems were you facing before working with me, and how has it been affecting you?
Okay. So before working with you, I had gained a significant amount of weight because I went through an accelerated nursing program.
Yeah.
It was only 1 year
Wow.
and it was rigorous. It was
Wow.
hard to get into and it was hard once I got in it.
Yeah.
And once I finished, I hit the ground running, starting a new job and trying to figure everything all out and, find my way as a nurse.
Yeah.
And I was gaining weight
Yeah.
and I was having pain in my knees and pain in my hips.
Yeah.
And I was very disgusted. So just long story short, I was
Yeah.
disgusted
Yeah.
with my health. I was eating whatever I could get whenever I felt hungry. I
Yeah.
really didn't have a plan around preparing meals, and making sure I ate. So by the time I did eat, I'm starving. I'm just reaching for whatever.
Yeah.
Um, just kids are hungry. Okay, let me just Uber something. And I'm spending tons of money having food sent to my house and it's
Yep.
garbage food,
Yep. Yep.
just and then I didn't have a plan to move.
Yep.
And I wanted to lose this weight so
Yep.
bad.
Yeah.
So then I found you.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that's a lot, right? And typically, we see a lot of our nurses having similar struggles, right? Struggling with the weight, struggling with just learning how to eat because again, you have a lot going on, right? You guys are working.
Hmm.
I advocate for you guys so much because you guys do so much, right? And that's why I push this hard because healthcare doesn't do enough for its practitioners.
Hmm.
They do not do enough, right?
Agreed.
And you guys are put into strenuous situations, which makes your personal life all the more challenging. And when there's not support there, that's when we see all these nurses fall into shambles. There's so many nurses right now who are patients, right? At the
Yeah,
tail end of their career, they're patients, and
very true.
primarily due to all this stress from the job, and not being able to prioritize their own health, right? So
Yes.
you've only been in the program like 4 weeks now, right?
Yes. Yes.
So what walk me through like the moment where you started to notice some changes and you're like, oh, things are actually starting to change for me.
I actually noticed a change kind of right away with my energy
Yeah,
because you really push us meal prepping and planning our meals ahead of time so
yeah,
that when we are working, we already know what we're going to eat. We already know how much of protein we're getting, how
hmm,
much fat, whatever, to, you know, help meet our nutrition goals.
yeah,
So that it helped my energy levels overnight. Like I saw that immediately.
awesome.
Um, Counting our steps and making sure we get so many steps in. Like I never
Yeah,
paid attention to it
yeah,
before,
yeah.
but yeah, I was like, oh, when I get 8,000 steps, I've walked 3.5 miles.
Mouse. Mm-hmm.
And not
Mm-hmm.
even realizing like, oh, I'm really on my
Yeah,
feet.
yeah,
To do that in one night
yeah,
to walk those 8,000 steps.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll start to see, I'll start to lose a few inches and a
Ooh,
few
ooh.
pounds.
Talk to us, talk to
And
us. How many inches, how many pounds? Let the people
well,
know.
I haven't even, so this is where I've caught slacking.
Okay,
I haven't done my measurements. I actually plan to do them today as I
okay,
go into the next week.
okay.
But I've lost about 9 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And that was as of last week because we
Mm-hmm.
weigh on Mondays.
Monday,
I
yeah,
weigh on Mondays.
yeah,
And so as of last Monday, I had lost 9 pounds. And I really didn't lose any weight between week 3 and week 4.
yeah,
So I'm expecting to see something this week. I'm
yeah.
hoping to see something this week. Um,
Yeah,
the exercise regimen where it really kind of targets my core, my glutes, my getting me strong in all the right places
yeah,
so that when I am having to move patients from stretcher to bed, I have the strength there. So I'm
yeah,
already seeing like those differences, feeling stronger, being
yeah.
more energized. I'm seeing I wore a dress that I had worn maybe once or twice. I wore it on Easter Sunday a Sunday to church. My mama said, "Oh my God."
That's
Like
that is awesome.
I
That
was like,
is
I don't see
awesome.
it yet, mama, but thank you.
See, you ain't post that on Wednesday.
I
We
didn't.
that is awesome. That's what I'm talking about. And I always tell you guys this, like, it's gonna be hard for you to notice these changes, because you look at yourself every day, right?
Yeah.
And your human brain notices every single part of you, right? So it's gonna be hard to kind of capture those micro changes. But then, something like your mom or like maybe a colleague that works days and like you guys only see each other maybe every so often, when you
Yeah.
meet, that's who's going to notice those changes right away because they don't
Yeah.
see you all the time. They see you maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. They will be a great indicator of like, oh girl, you looking good. What are you on, right? So that's
Yeah.
really awesome to hear. So 9 pounds down so far, inches off your waist. So you're saying like the exercises have actually been helping you move patients more
Oh
efficiently.
yeah. And it makes me like think like when I'm getting ready to like pull a patient from stretcher to bed,
Yeah,
I prefer the pull than to push. I
yeah,
don't know why. But I'm like, okay, let me make sure I got my abs in check.
tight. Yeah,
And okay, I'm thinking about my whole
core
positioning because
engagement.
I don't want to
Yep.
hurt myself.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly, and that's what I mean in the program. You see, I'm always emphasizing, hey, engage the core, engage the core, engage the core, because
Yeah.
it's going to become a muscle memory. Now, every time
Yeah.
you want to pick up something remotely heavy, your core will just naturally engage, right? And
Mhm.
the number one musculoskeletal issue that nurses deal with is lower back pain, lumbar pain, because of improper ergonomics, improper mechanics on lifting patients, moving patients, and y'all know, well, if they don't know, people watching this, most of the people in the hospital, they big.
Yeah.
They big, not 200 pounds,
No.
not they big, right? So you gotta have strength and you gotta have proper mechanics in moving these heavy people, right? Because now you're gonna cause potential injury to you or potential injury to
Mhm.
that patient as you're moving them improperly,
Mhm.
and potential injuries to your team members who are also trying to help move this patient. And you have to be collaborative. The team has to be,
Yes.
hey, move this patient in this order. And if one of that chain can't do that, now that puts everybody else in jeopardy.
Yes, it does.
So that's an amazing ability to be able to get stronger in that area. And then I'm sure people at work will notice and be like, "Oh yeah, I mean, Terry, you getting strong. You could probably handle this patient by yourself, right?" So that's really awesome. I'm really excited about that Easter thing. I didn't know that. You was holding that for me. I don't like that.
Yeah.
You was holding it back. So what would you tell a friend or a colleague that is facing the similar struggles you were facing, right? Because I'm sure you just mentioned a lot of these benefits, and it's only been about a month, and we got
Yeah.
5 more. You gonna experience a whole lot more benefits, right? So
Yes.
what would you tell somebody at work or maybe a old teacher colleague that's facing some of the struggles that you were facing?
Um, I would tell them you need a plan,
Yeah,
right? Because it's easy to be like, oh, I'm just gonna start walking. Okay, that's fine, but
yeah,
like, what are you doing to build muscle? What are
yeah,
you doing to strengthen your body?
yeah,
To strengthen these bones that you're toting around every day.
yeah,
Well, I'm just going. My homegirl. She knows that I'm doing something. I'm gonna
yeah,
stop eating meat. I said, but baby, you need your protein. So that's what
yeah,
I love about working with you because I have a full plan.
yeah.
I have a full plan from nutrition to working out to sleeping to stress.
Mm-hmm.
It meets everything um to help me lose weight. Like I didn't consider how my levels of stress were holding fat.
Mm-hmm.
Were causing my body to hold on to fat. Um I didn't think of that. So, you've given me a plan of okay, how this let's reduce our stress before we can go to sleep so you can get your proper amount of sleep because when you're asleep, this is when your body does all these things for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, all the things. You have to have a comprehensive plan.
Yeah.
I would tell my nursing friends specifically, like, we not gonna make it 10, 15 years without a plan, without a regimen. And if you don't seek out Dominion, you need to seek out somebody like him that can help you have to make sure you're meeting your nutrition, getting your rest,
Yeah.
um, minimizing your stress, and you're doing workouts that fit your needs and your goals to build your body and your strength.
Absolutely, absolutely, and big kudos on, you don't have to work with me, right? God is for me.
Yes.
We've been going 5 years. We're good, right?
Yeah.
If you want to work with me, awesome. I love you. I'd love to work with you. I'd love to add value to your life. But like you said, get help, right?
Just something.
Put the ego aside. Get help. Get real help. And when I say real help, I mean do some research because there's so many people that come to work with me that their doctor has been giving them advice and go take this pill, go do this, stop eating carbs, you need to
Mm.
eat nothing and do all this like I know that traditionally and conventionally we want to run to our doctors, but you know if your doctor is like 50 pounds overweight, you probably shouldn't be asking them for weight loss advice. You know,
Right.
no matter how many degrees they have, or like that's not what they went to school for, right? So get real help, something comprehensive, like you said, something effective that's actually going to lead to results, right? And that's what we talked about, when we first connected. Hey, girl, I'm all about results. We need to get
Yeah.
results, and that's what this program is. So, yes, get real help. So, lastly, is there anything else that you want other nurses to know about working with me?
It's an excellent program. I get I get weary and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this. But each week I go into each week excited about okay, oh, I didn't do that well on my nutrition. I didn't eat all my carb goals last week. Okay, how can I get more carbs? I know that I can reach out to you and say, hey, I'm struggling with
Yeah,
getting this carb goal, and you're gonna give me exactly what I could do to help me meet that goal.
yeah,
Um, I'm struggling with the workout. you
Yeah.
know, um, you'll help me find a way to switch it to something that'll, be better suited for whatever, because I was having pain in my
Hmm.
knees at one point. So I couldn't do those wall sits. But
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, this do this. Nutrition, all the things like
Yeah.
it feels like a comprehensive program. And I'm very well pleased. I really am. I'm pleased. I'm looking forward to the next week, every week.
Yeah.
And usually by week 3, I'm like, I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
With a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's hard, but the only hard is your mind
Yeah.
and making the mental shift. That's the hardest part. If you're all the time person that likes to eat and snack and you're used to eating when you're sad or when emotionally like me,
Yeah.
that was the biggest thing for me. Just like, okay, well, oh, we don't do that anymore. And being able to have food at my disposal when at a certain time when I know, okay, when I wake up, I'm gonna be ready to eat. I already have a
Yeah.
meal plan there because I pre-prepped.
Hmm.
I already know what macros this meals contain because I
Hmm.
pre-prepped. I loved it. I mean, it actually has made my life easier. And even for my
Yes.
kids and for my
Yes.
family, my children, they're eating what I'm eating. And
Uh-huh.
my son is starting to lose weight. I didn't tell you that. My son is starting to lose
Let's
weight.
go. See, you
Yeah.
hold it
So
up. You hold it back. All these. It was like 20 additional wins that you could have been posted, and you ain't want to share none of this stuff.
it
Wow.
wasn't that I didn't want to.
No, I'm playing Jay. I'm playing Jay. That is awesome. So he losing weight too,
My
girl.
son is losing weight. Yeah.
What?
I
That
see him
is.
decrease in his waist.
And
Hmm.
listen, this is like I told you this when we first started. This is way more than just we're gonna lose some weight and yeah, no, this is way more than that because now you're affecting the next generation.
Yeah.
Childhood obesity is up like 20 something percent.
Hmm.
I mean, obesity in general is more than 50% according to CDC.
Yeah.
These are the most recent results. As a nation, we are getting fatter and we are getting sicker. We are developing
Yes.
more chronic diseases.
Hmm.
So what that means is the generations that come after like the older generation, let me not say older, but like the previous generations, right? So from like the baby boomers and then to the millennials, we're getting sicker. We're getting more unhealthy. So now
Hmm.
you are doing something that is changing the trajectory of your generation. You're making your kids healthier. And you're teaching,
Yeah.
they're watching you. They're seeing this transformation. They're gonna watch you go from where you are now to where you're gonna be, right? And it's not just about, oh, we're gonna lose some weight. No, we're building muscle. Like you're going to look like an
Yes.
action figure. I'm like, damn, mom.
Yeah.
Like, what are you training for? Right?
Yes.
What are you training for? You're gonna be like, I'm training for life.
Yes.
I'm training to be 105 years old, walking with no cane, taking zero medications. And you say this to a common person, you're like, what? What? There's people like that on this planet right now.
Yes.
They don't take no medication. They walk miles a day, and they're in their centurions.
Yes.
And that's what we're building here. So I am really happy to I'm filled with joy now. I'm really excited. Wow, I'm really filled with joy now, and this is why I do this. It's a blessing to be able to impact someone's life, and especially because in this position now we're impacting the next generation, and it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good, and
Awesome.
it's all a testament to you though,
Yeah.
because if you didn't do the work,
Mm.
your son ain't doing the work. Oh, mom ain't doing it. Why am I gonna eat this? If he see you, late night ordering or getting some snacks, pizza, cookies, and he like, I thought you was on a plan. Oh, so you doing that? Why am I gonna do it?
Yeah.
You're not gonna do it. He's only doing it because he's watching mommy. You don't gotta teach him. Kids don't. The most part that they learn is from watching. They watching how the parents communicate. They watching how they do this. They watching how you respond to stress. How does
Yes.
mommy handle stress? Is she yelling all the time? Is she going to just get ice cream and just when she mad and just or is she doing a breathing exercise? Your kid watching you do a breathing exercise, and then she sees how calm you are, and then you go for a walk. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. That's priceless. So I won't rant. I'm overjoyed. Girl, it's only been 4 weeks. This is
I
gonna be
know.
crazy. I told you it's gonna change your life. This is gonna be crazy. It's gonna be
I'm so
crazy.
excited. I'm
Like
so excited.
you haven't even you haven't even scratched like you haven't even scratched. You're just entering. You haven't even scratched. Talk less of when you actually get into it, where we start seeing 20, 30, 40 pounds drop. We start building that hourglass. Right? I don't know if you
Mm,
saw Kristen's post. I posted her transformation like 2 days ago. V shape.
wow.
This is how we build the hourglass. We don't need a BBL. We just need to work hard and we need to be consistent. People want fix like this. No, we need to be consistent. So excited, guys. Keep watching Sateria's progress. I'm telling you, it's gonna be crazy. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.